a victory over Robert Armstrong. We can now see his second appearance in the ring as a professional against Kesem Clayton. This is Tony Velenor's third professional bout. And if his first two are anything to go by, this should be an explosive affair this evening. Both his first professional bouts ending inside the distance. Tony Velenor fighting out of Stratford. In 1985 he won the ABA light middleweight title. And then the following year he was beaten in the quarterfinal. So a fine amateur record behind him. But it's a completely different ball game when you turn professional. But Tony Velenor done very little wrong so far, beating both Robert Armstrong and Andy Tonks. His last fight only lasting around, with Andy Tonks retiring at the end of the first round. That bout in Manchester, Tonks suffering a broken nose. Velenor trying to get the jab going, southpaw right. Fairly quiet opening first round, and it is Velenor who's doing most of the attacking and catching Clayton with a fine right there towards the end of the first round. Moving in for the kill, but the bell will save Clayton here at the end of the first round. Exciting opening 3 minutes with Clayton finishing with a little flurry himself. But Tony Velenor, definitely the more impressive of the two fighters there in the opening round, which really is what most people here this evening expected. Tony Velenor undefeated so far as a professional, 2 bouts, 2 wins, both finishing well inside the distance, beating Robert Armstrong on his debut, and then following that up with the first round defeat of Andy Tonks in Manchester about 3 weeks ago. Many people are comparing Tony Velenor to Nigel Benn, 1 or 2 similarities. Certainly both have the all-action style of a crowd pleaser. And both actually were in the army for a while before leaving to concentrate on their boxing careers as professionals. Tony Velenor, one of the most promising boxers in the Barry Hearn stable, the Matchroom stable at the present, and I know that they have high hopes for this man from Stratford. But we now go into the second round. And Kesem Clayton will be hoping that he can step up his pace, attempt to take some of the initiative away from Velenor. Still Tony Velenor trying to do some good work behind the jab, set up the right. Clayton once or twice been able to get through himself. that, judging by the first two fights we saw Velnor involved in, it's the way he fights. He does tend to walk through one or two shots in order to land his own. Got a cross right in over the top of Clayton's defence. And trying to score with an uppercut. Tony Velnor a little unlucky when he was fighting as an amateur, because although he won the 1912 games, Velnor a very disappointed man that year. But he didn't turn professional as many people thought he might. Had another year in the amateurs and got through to the quarter-finals of the AVAs the following year, being beaten by Neville Brown, and then Brown was chosen for the LA Olympics. Shot from Clayton, a right which has caught Velnor. He's in a great deal of trouble right in his corner. I think the referee might have one or two doubts about letting this carry on, and he's stopped it. The referee has stopped this in the second round. That's quite a shock here at the International Hall. I don't think many people gave Kesem Clayton much of a chance. He was a late replacement for the Scottish champion Tommy McCullum, but he caught Velnor with a fantastic right there, right in his own corner, and Velnor, well, he was out. Really didn't know where he was. He tried to get to his feet at about 7, but the shot from Clayton was far too good. And let's just take a look at that superb right from Kesem Clayton. He has Velnor backed up in his own corner right at the end of the second round. Working behind the jab, and there's the right. Velnor down, out, really didn't know where he was at that stage. And although he showed true courage in getting back to his feet, the referee really didn't have any doubt whatsoever in stopping that fight at the end of the second round. So a victory for Kesem Clayton. Tony Velnor's unbeaten record has gone, and really that is quite a shock here at the International Hall this evening.